Ever imagined a world where building AI means like tiptoeing through this legal minefield of copyright rules?
Yeah.
That's kind of the reality we're facing right now.
Yeah.
And this recent court ruling just threw like a huge curveball
Yeah.
that could reshape the whole AI landscape.
Really good.
So we're going to go deep on this today using a blog post from Spawning. They're all about ethical AI development
Right.
to help us understand what just went down.
So they've broken down this landmark case from the Hamburg Regional Court,
Wow.
Kneschke v. LAION,
Okay.
where a photographer went head-to-head with a nonprofit
Oh, wow.
that creates those massive data sets of image links used to train AI.
So it all kind of boils down to a question that's been brewing for a while now, right?
Yeah.
Can AI developers just use any image they find online to train their AIs?
Right.
Or do those good old copyright laws still apply?
Yeah, that's the question.
This case might be like the first domino to fall in a long line of legal battles.
Could be, yeah. The court actually sided with LAION,
Oh, wow, really?
the dataset creators,
Interesting.
which might sound surprising at first.
So does that mean like free reign for AI to learn from anything online?
Not so fast.
Okay.
The key here is the court pointed to specific EU copyright exceptions that allow for text and data mining
Okay.
for scientific research, especially when it's a nonprofit like LAION.
Got it.
They're not out to make a quick buck. They're trying to push the boundaries of knowledge.
Okay, so it's like a win for scientific progress. But what about
Yeah.
the photographers, artists, all those creators whose work kind of feeds these AI behemoths?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Spawning argues that this case highlights a much bigger issue,
Okay.
the timing of copyright checks.
So we're talking about like that robots.txt file.
Exactly.
The one websites use to control what web crawlers can access.
But Spawning makes this brilliant comparison,
Yep.
relying solely on robots.txt, is like
Yeah.
checking the ingredients for a recipe months before you cook.
I see.
What if something went bad in the meantime?
You'd end up with a
Yeah.
culinary disaster for sure. You wouldn't know until it's too late.
Exactly.
So they're saying the same thing could happen with AI training data.
Precisely.
Gotcha.
By the time an AI is learning from the data,
Yeah.
the copyright situation might have changed completely.
So what's the solution then? Do we just accept that
What?
AI development is going to be this legal tightrope walk?
There might be a better way.
Okay.
Enter the EU's AI Act, which focuses on compliance at the model training stage.
Okay.
This means checking for copyright issues when the AI actually learns from the data,
I see.
not just when the data is collected.
So instead of like just grabbing everything and sorting it out later,
Yeah.
the AI Act wants to check permissions up front
Yes.
right when the AI starts learning.
Right.
Spawning must be pretty happy about this.
It aligns perfectly with their argument. And it could be a win for creators, too.
Okay.
Imagine more transparency
Yeah.
and potentially more control
Right.
over how your work is used to, like, shape the AI of the future.
That's a big deal.
It is.
It's not just legal jargon. It could actually give creators a voice at the table.
A seat at the table.
What's Spawning's take on all of this?
They're calling for something called time of training checks,
Okay.
and they're walking the walk.
Hmm.
They've developed tools like data diligence
Okay.
to make this happen.
So they're putting their money where their mouth is, actively building the solutions
No.
they're advocating for.
Absolutely.
I like that.
And their blog highlights why this matters in the real world.
Yeah.
The web is getting more restrictive every day, making it harder
Right.
to gather data for AI training.
Yeah.
Time of training checks could be a solution that benefits everyone involved.
It sounds like they're trying to bridge the gap between AI progress and protecting creators' rights.
Exactly.
So tell me more about this this new system they're proposing.
They're proposing a new standard called ai.txt,
Okay.
which acts like an updated robots.txt,
Right.
but specifically for AI training.
So think of it as a way for creators to opt in or out
Yeah.
of having their work used.
Exactly.
So if I'm a photographer, I could use ai.txt to say, hey, AI developers,
Yeah.
you can use my photos for training,
Yeah.
but only under these conditions.
Exactly.
Cool.
It would be a game changer,
Yeah.
giving creators a clear voice and AI developers a roadmap to follow.
Okay.
But here's the best part.
All right.
Spawning isn't trying to dictate this solution.
Okay.
They're calling on the entire AI community to help shape this standard.
Collaboration, not confrontation.
Exactly.
I like their style.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a real turning point in the conversation about AI and copyright.
Yeah.
It's not just about lawsuits and restrictions anymore.
Right.
It's about building a system that works for everyone.
It's a much-needed shift in perspective.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be real. This is complex stuff.
Yeah.
I think we need to break it down further.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of how these time-of-training checks would work in practice when we come back.
Stay with us, folks, because this deep dive is just getting started. All right, so you've piqued my curiosity. How would these time-of-training checks actually work in practice?
Yeah.
It sounds like a real logistical puzzle.
It's more straightforward than you might think.
Okay.
Remember how spawning laid out the typical AI training process?
Mm-hmm.
There's data collection, then pre-processing,
right,
followed by the actual model training, and finally evaluating and tweaking the model.
Right, yeah, each step kind of building on the last.
Right.
So where did these checks fit into that flow?
Spawning's idea is to insert these checks during that pre-processing stage, right before the data gets fed into the AI for training.
Okay, so it acts like a filter.
Yeah, like a filter.
Or maybe a bouncer at the door of an exclusive club.
Right.
Carefully vetting who gets in.
Exactly.
So each piece of data needs to pass a copyright check before it can join the AI training party.
Precisely.
But what happens if a piece of data fails the check? Does the whole training process come to a screeching halt?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Remember, the goal isn't to bring AI development to its knees.
Right.
It's to make the process more responsible and respectful of creators' rights.
So there needs to be some flexibility built into the system, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Ideally, these checks become part of like a larger system where AI developers and creators can actually communicate and collaborate.
So instead of this Wild West data grab, we could have a world where AI developers reach out to creators and say, hey, we'd love to use your work to train our AI. What do you think?
That's the vision.
I like it.
Creators could have more say in how their work is used. Yeah. Maybe even negotiate licensing deals or get compensated for their contributions.
Now, that would be a game changer. Yeah. Turning a potentially adversarial relationship into a partnership where everyone benefits.
Exactly.
And that's where ai.txt comes in, right?
Yes. Okay. It's a common language that both AI developers and creators can understand. Right. A way to clearly communicate intentions and permissions.
So no more guessing games or legal gray areas.
Exactly.
AI.txt would be like that digital handshake that sets the terms of engagement.
Just like robots.txt became the standard for managing web crawlers, AI.txt could become the go-to tool for managing AI training data.
This is starting to feel like a real turning point in the AI and copyright debate.
It is, yeah.
We're not just talking about lawsuits and restrictions. We're talking about building a system that actually works for everyone involved.
It's a much-needed evolution.
Yeah, it's exciting to think that we're still in the early stages of this conversation. Yeah. It feels like there's so much potential to shape the future of AI.
Absolutely.
That's one of the key takeaways from Spawning's blog post, right?
Absolutely.
They're not trying to force the solution. They're inviting collaboration.
Right.
Seeing ai.txt as like a starting point, a framework that can adapt as the AI community's needs evolve.
Exactly.
I appreciate that open approach. Bringing everyone to the table to find solutions together is crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially as AI becomes increasingly intertwined with our lives.
Right.
It's vital that we address these issues head on.
Speaking of which, what happens if we don't figure this out?
Yeah.
What are, like, the potential consequences of ignoring this copyright conundrum?
That's a path we don't want to go down.
Okay.
Imagine AI development getting bogged down by lawsuits and uncertainty, innovation, stifled by a web of restrictions.
It'd be like trying to run a marathon with your shoelaces tied together.
Right.
Progress would grind to a halt.
Exactly.
That's not good for anyone.
No.
Especially when AI has the potential to help us tackle some of humanity's biggest challenges, like healthcare, education, even climate change.
Right.
If we stifle its development, we risk missing out on those breakthroughs.
Absolutely.
It's a balancing act.
It is.
We need to find a way to protect creators' rights while allowing AI to flourish.
Exactly.
Unchecked AI development could lead to a devaluation of creative work.
Right.
Where, artists, writers, musicians, everyone who pours their heart and soul into their craft end up losing out.
Exactly.
Their work would become just another data point in a giant training set, stripped of its value and meaning.
That's the danger we need to avoid.
Right.
If AI can just copy and repurpose existing work without any consequences, it undermines the very foundation of human creativity.
This isn't just about legalities. It's about fairness, respect, and recognizing the value that creators bring to the world.
You hit the nail on the head.
Thanks.
We can't have AI progress at the expense of human expression.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot, that balance between pushing the boundaries of innovation and protecting the rights of those who make it all possible.
And this isn't just about finding the right laws or technical solutions. It's about shifting our cultural understanding of what AI is and how it should be used.
Absolutely.
We need to move past seeing AI as just like a technical tool and start grappling with its social and ethical implications.
Right.
After all, AI isn't some abstract force out there. It's created and deployed by humans. And those humans have a responsibility to use it wisely.
Absolutely.
This is a conversation that needs to happen at every level, right? From the tech companies building these systems to the everyday users interacting with them.
Right.
But I'm curious, what are some of the potential obstacles we might face in trying to build a more ethical and responsible AI ecosystem?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Inertia can be a powerful force.
Right.
Especially when we're talking about an industry that's moving at warp speed.
Yeah.
Obsessed with building bigger, better, faster AI models.
But how do we get there then? How do we convince developers to prioritize responsibility and collaboration over just, hoovering up as much data as possible?
It's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And there's no single answer.
Right.
It'll require a multi-pronged approach.
All right, let's brainstorm.
Okay.
What are those prongs?
First and foremost, education is key.
Okay.
Developers need to understand the ethical implications of their work.
Right.
The potential consequences of using data without permission.
So it's not just about knowing the letter of the law, but also understanding the human impact of their actions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where organizations like Spawning are playing a crucial role.
Okay.
They're doing fantastic work, raising awareness and providing resources for developers who want to build AI responsibly.
So they're like the ethical compass
guiding
the AI industry towards a more thoughtful approach.
Yeah, I like that.
But education alone isn't enough, is it?
You're right. We also need clear legal frameworks that provide both guidance and accountability.
Right.
And thankfully, the EU's AI Act seems to be a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll set a precedent for other countries to follow suit and prioritize ethical AI development in their own regulations.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But even with the best laws in place, it ultimately comes down to individual developers making conscious choices.
That's where I see the power of tools like ai.txt coming in.
Right.
By providing a simple, standardized way to manage permissions.
Yeah.
It takes the guesswork out of, doing the right thing.
It makes responsibility the path of least resistance.
Right.
And when ethics and innovation can work hand in hand, that's when we unlock the true potential of AI.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on the intersection of AI, copyright, and the future of creativity.
I'm glad.
Me too, thanks.
But before we wrap up, let's turn the focus to you, our listener. What can you do to help ensure AI develops in a way that benefits everyone?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of these challenges, but everyone has a role to play, right?
Absolutely. But first and foremost, stay informed.
Right.
Remember, this isn't a spectator sport. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make.